Hello, everybody. Drew here for Drew.Underground, and do not adjust your screen. It does say Free Stellar Blade under my name for a fucking reason. Before I get into a rant, roll the intro.
The world is full of clowns. They're all stupid and they're proud. Painted smiles on their mouths. I don't hang with bozos, homie. I can't be around.
I've always wanted to say that was something to actually happen.
Yeah.
And thanks to this guy, Desert Nord,
Yep.
have that. So once again, thank you. Hey, bro, how you doing?
Doing good.
What the fuck is going on in the gaming industry now?
Quite a bit, as it turns out.
Because here's what was going to happen tonight. Right at the end of, well, actually, while we're still live, last time we were live, I was writing down notes, as you guys may or may not have seen, in my notebook here. And speaking of fine people, hey, Chunk, good to see you again. It's been a while, my friend. Welcome back to the Underground, my fellow underdog. But as I was saying, it's been a while since we did this, but last time I did so, I was writing my notes. I was planning out this episode. What we were going to do was review Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade, and a third game. I can't remember what, though. But seeing as how Free Stellar Blade is a thing, the petition, which we'll get into that shortly, and Helldivers and, Sony is hellbent. Get the hell off my screen, stupid bug. Fucker. Anyway. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. Hellblade 2, Sony is hellbent on destroying it on PC. And we'll get into that. And also review, actually, Hellblade, and actually talk about the Stellar Blade situation, which we haven't had to on camera yet. So with that in mind, once again, hail to Chunk the Punk in the chat. Hail to you, bro. And without any... Oh, and we'll talk about Mark Hamill being at the White House. We'll get into that at the end.
Uh-huh.
Fuck our lives. But beyond that, what's new with you, Nord?
Well, in terms of gaming, I've been getting into the Call of the Wild Angler game. It is fishing game. It's a very good game. Excellent game. One of the best.
What's it called?
It's called Call of the Wild. It's from the Call of the Wild series. There was the previous game was called The Hunter Call of the Wild, and that was just a hunting game. I played that too. But
so it's just Call of the Wild Fishing or something.
No, it's called The Angler. Instead of The Hunter, it's called The Angler Call of the Wild.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
Instead of hunting, it's about fishing.
Okay.
And so it's the best fishing game I've ever played.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, with me, I recently ordered some Blackout coffee with the promo code of LB for the litter box. Shout out to Jules and Cat Turd for that. Yeah, because I used their promo code to get like a bit of a discount off of my first subscription to Blackout Coffee. So, and no, they're not an advertiser. I just tried some of their coffee, and I'm a big fan of it. So, you're going to be seeing me drinking Blackout coffee on
and
the channel.
You've also been a longtime fan of Cat Turd anyway. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that too. So. Also, shout out to Hangover Gang and Tom McDonald for the mug. And the hat. Facts over feelings. With that in mind, are you ready to get into some censorship bullshit, bro?
Yeah, you mean typical bullshit? Yeah.
Yeah, typical bullshit, but in this case, we're throwing PlayStation under the bus because, well, they're laying there. So it's not really us throwing them under the bus, it's us turning on the engine and putting it in gear at this point, because they decided to lay there.
Yeah, so, no, I've we've had bone to pick with Sony for quite a while now.
Yeah, well, we've also had bone to pick with Xbox and Nintendo over the years too.
Yeah, well, you know.
Which is also the case. I know I have the reputation of being an Xbox fan, but first and foremost, I'm a free speech, freedom of expression fan first. Freedom first, platform second. In other words, for the integrity of gaming. So with that in mind, which one do you want to do first? Helldivers or the Stellar Blade monkey business?
Yeah. And by the way, I knew this whole trifecta was going to come into the news at the same time, by the way.
Yeah, because as it turned out, they're likely linked between Helldivers and Stellar Blade here.
Yeah. And, you know, I always thought it was funny that there's these 3 games. One of them called Helldivers, one of them called Hellblade, and another one called Stellar Blade. So all you need to do is make a 4th one and call it Stellar Divers. And we have the whole trifecta together.
Would that be like a fishing game, but without fishing poles?
No, yeah, it'll just be celestial skydiving or something. Some crazy stuff, you know.
Well, wouldn't that be Starfield?
Yeah, something like that.
Anyway, as I was saying, since you didn't answer, I'll leave it to Chunk in the chat. Chunk, what do you want us to do first? Helldivers coverage or the Stellar Blade censorship business? I'll leave it to the viewers here. So with that in mind, a quick thing I do want to say while we're waiting for the chat to keep up here. I won't be playing Stellar Blade or Helldivers on stream until Sony gets their fucking shit together and does the right thing. In the chat, Helldivers? All right, we'll cover Helldivers first. So we will do the article first because I have 2 tabs for this. Oh, shit. I clicked on the wrong thing. I'm supposed to share the screen instead of just look at it myself. Here we go. So this comes from Game Rant. Helldivers 2, how to link Steam account to PlayStation Network. So essentially what it comes down to here is if you bought Helldivers 2 on Steam, initially at launch, it was optional to have to link your PSN account to play it on Steam, right? Right, bro?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But now coming up in June, it will be mandatory to link link Steam to your PSN account. Meanwhile, PSN gets hacked every fucking month.
Yep.
It's the most insecure fucking network on the planet is the PlayStation Network. Yep. And if you have a Steam account that's been in existence since Steam started, so it's like over a 20-year-old account, 20 years worth of games, you're risking that fucking legacy and history. And I understand why PC gamers are pissed at this, because you don't have to do that with like God of War on Steam or these or Last of Us Part 2 even, right?
Yep.
Which actually, as it turns out, are Sweet Baby Inc. related games, but that's a whole nother story that we've covered.
Yep.
But here's another aspect that Sony does not think about. In certain countries, PlayStation Network doesn't exist, but Steam does. So if you exist in those countries, what does Sony and PlayStation want you to do? Move to another fucking country to play their damn game? It doesn't work that way, PlayStation. And by the way, this is coming from a guy who has been on PlayStation Network for years, has a PS5, PS4, PS3. And so none of this affects fucking me, but it affects fucking gaming. And that's what fucking matters. The integrity of gaming itself. So with that in mind, Sony, go flying fuck yourself into the pit of hell that you fucking crawled out of.
Yeah, they when we had our previous discussions about Sony shenanigans,
Yeah.
we had pretty much come to the conclusion that Sony pretty much hates their customers.
Well, we've already discovered that with Xbox too. So
yeah, Xbox just I don't even know. I mean, it's the same. But no, I mean, I feel like Sony finds new and inventive ways to step in shit every time they get the chance. You know, I mean, most people, or companies will accidentally make a mistake and piss off their customers. It happens.
This fucking question in this poll here: which of these games / franchises has your favorite take on Norse mythology? Valheim, right?
I suppose so. Yeah.
Because Hellblade. Why is Hellblade Senua's Saga on here? It's not even fucking out till the 21st.
Well, I think they had early access for some people.
But still, it's not fucking out, so it shouldn't even fucking be here. But Assassin's Creed Valhalla, God of War, Valheim, that's actually the best one here.
God of War wasn't bad, but it was way off of like,
of the earlier games on the PS3 and the PlayStation 2.
It's not what we would call a faithful depiction of Greek mythology.
Yeah, but anyway, sorry for that side street. I saw that and just had to talk about it. But Arrowhead Game Studio is an independent Swedish game developer and has brought about games like Magica Gauntlet, the Showdown Effect, and Helldivers recently. Sony informed the players that due to safety and security concerns.
Yes.
Safety and security concerns on a system that gets fucking hacked all the time. Sorry.
Yes, this is the same safety and security that Palpatine was bringing to the Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, bringing to the Republic with his Empire.
And that's no fucking joke. You're better off with Darth Sidious at this point.
Well, it is a joke indeed.
Yeah, but I'm not joking here. Linking the Helldivers 2 Steam account with PlayStation Network has become compulsory? Am I reading that right?
Yes, that is the correct way of reading that. That is the correct way of pronouncing. Well, compulsory means you're compelled to do something. It means you're made to do it. You don't have a choice.
Oh, well.
Yeah, that's what compulsory means.
Let me read the correct wording of this then.
Yeah.
The honest wording. Linking the Helldivers 2 Steam account with PSN has become mandatory. Forced. Which was optional before. You did have a choice. But now you don't. This is the response to protect other players from those who employ griefing, i.e. you and I shooting each other with friendly fire in games all the time, Nord. Which, by the way, is not griefing. That's just brothers having fun with each other. Because if we were to shoot each other in real life, that would be a problem, now wouldn't it? Bro? I guess we're having some technical issues for Nord here at the moment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you not hear me?
No, I couldn't.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was just saying I don't think I don't know as if there is such a thing as brothers griefing each other in a video game.
Yeah, especially since if that's the case, you and I have been griefing each other since what? 1995?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, if that's considered griefing, then you've been griefing me ever since we played Ken Griffey Jr. baseball back in the '90s.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying.
About that. that time that I told you if you ran into the wall in Wrigley Field, that particular door that the X-Men would come out and help you beat me, and you kept doing it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Sure, that this idea that
Oh,
there was this
dear.
wall clunking exploit, and all you were really doing was scoring runs while I was being an idiot.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was a classic.
Mm-hmm.
But where was I? Oh yeah. Protect other players from those players who employ griefing and abusive tactics, like I did to bro when we were kids.
Mm-hmm.
Consequently, such players will face bans moving forward. Additionally, banned players retain the right to appeal their banishment. Do they really, though? Do they really, though? It's Sony we're talking about here.
Yep.
Anyway, new Helldivers 2 players must link their Steam account with PlayStation Network from the 6th of May before they can start playing the game. As for the current Helldiver 2 players, they will see the forced login pop-up from the 30th of May and will need to link their accounts by the 4th of June. Oh, good. The anniversary of when I graduated from high school 20 years ago. Thank you, Sony. To continue playing. I'm getting old. 20 years ago, I graduated from high school. Coming up in June here.
Yeah. And Sony's getting more and more jerky.
Yeah, they're turning into what Nintendo used to be, and Nintendo's turning into what Sony used to be. Huh.
Sony was already in the dickhead category. Like, they were way into the dickhead category already.
Well, you know what this means, folks, don't you? Go buy a Nintendo fucking Switch instead. Anyway.
Honestly, at this point, they're getting into the levels of dickhead that shouldn't even be possible for a company that's trying to actually sell things to customers.
Yeah. So, on that note, we can also look at...
And by the way, the whole security and safety thing, it's only about the security and safety of two things. One, their bottom line. That's the first thing. And the most important thing to them. And two, the feelings of people who shouldn't be playing video games in the first place.
Yeah. But speaking with Helldivers and Steam, because I am on Steam, I'm just not on the app right now. I'm in the web browser, so I'm not actually signed in right now. But let's take a look at some of the grievances that PC gamers have with Helldivers and Sony and this situation, right? Recent reviews. Last time I saw this, it was at 27,000. Now it's at 157,297 recent reviews, mostly negative.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, it's gone well over 100,000 since the last time I saw this.
Quite a pile-on, huh?
And a total of reviews of 434,373 in total. And it's mostly, well, and it's overall mixed for obvious reasons. So let's read some of these reviews. List of countries where people can make PSN accounts. This is actually what I was talking about earlier. So this is very important to go through. Afghanistan, Albania, Algeria, and I hope I pronounce your country right if you live in these countries. Andorra, is that right? Angola, I don't know where the hell that is.
That's Angola in Africa.
Okay. How the hell do you pronounce this one? Antigua. Are you not looking at the screen?
Oh, that's in Antigua. Yeah, Antigua.
Antigua?
Mm-hmm.
Barbuda? Barbuda?
I'm just gonna read them for you here.
Okay, that would be helpful.
Yeah, Barbuda, Armenia, Azerbaijan, the Bahamas, Bangladesh, Barbados, Belarus, Belize, Benin, Bhutan, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Botswana, Brunei, Burkina Faso, which is in Africa also, Burundi, which is in Africa, Cambodia, Cameroon, Cape Verde, Central African Republic, Chad, Comoros, Democratic Republic of the Congo, which is also known as Congo Kinshasa, Republic of the Congo, and the sub territory known as Brazzaville. Then we have Djibouti, which is a fun one. That's on the east coast of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the Dominican Republic of East Timor, also Africa. And then we have Egypt, Equatorial Guinea, Eritrea, Estonia, Eswatini, which is Swaziland. We call it Swaziland. And then we have Ethiopia, Fiji, Gabon, Gambia, the European nation of Georgia, Ghana, Grenada, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, Guyana, Haiti, Jamaica, Jordan, Kazakhstan, Kenya, Kiribati, Kyrgyzstan, Laos, Latvia, Lesotho, Liberia, Libya, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Madagascar, Malawi, Maldives, Mali, the Marshall Islands, Mauritania, Mauritius. Then we have Micronesia, Moldova, Monaco, Mongolia, Montenegro, Morocco, Mozambique, Myanmar, which is also known as Burma, Namibia, Nauru, Nepal, of course, fun one, Nigeria, North Macedonia, formerly Macedonia, Palau, Papua. I believe you have to scroll down now because I've hit the bottom here.
I already did extend it.
Okay. See if I can.
Where did you leave off?
I was at Papua.
Papua.
Okay, hold on. No, I got it. Papua New Guinea, Rwanda, St. Kitts, Nevis, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Grenadines, Samoa, San Marino, Sao Tome, Principe, Senegal, Seychelles, Sierra Leone, Solomon Islands, Somalia, South Sudan, Sri Lanka, Sudan, and Suriname. So basically Africa, pretty much all of Africa, all of the island nations that surround Africa, all of the island nations of the Caribbean, for the most part, and a whole bunch of Northern South American countries are all on this list.
Yeah. In other words, and by the way, I believe I misread the top of this before. It's list of countries where people can't make a PSN account.
Correct. So everybody who lives in these countries are completely forbidden from playing the game entirely.
Yeah. Congratulations, Sony. You've cut off everyone in these countries from playing Helldivers. I did it again. Helldivers 2.
Some of the countries in question, I don't know if much of the population of most of the countries in question have the wherewithal to even play such a game.
But I'm willing to bet some in here do.
But obviously, places where they have second world living standards, such as like Mauritius, they do have every ability to play if they so desire. Without this being in effect. Obviously, in those countries, they indeed have been obstructed from playing the game altogether.
And here's a review that is absolutely worth bearing. Asmongold, we know him.
yes, of course. Yes.
So what has Asmongold reviewed this? Not recommended. Greatly disappointed with the additional forced change of requiring a PSN account in order to play the game. Not only does this force users who are in many countries to either break the terms of service and risk their entire account, he's referring to like certain like apps and stuff you might have on your computer that might get pinged by the PlayStation Network and get you banned for it.
Yep.
That's what he's referring to there.
Yep.
You can't fake your country of origin, but it also locks those out of playing. Why did I say lacks? Locks those out of playing the game entirely.
Mm-hmm.
This forced change by Sony directly contradicts their stated language in their official website that said, is an important word here back because it's past tense. you would not need to connect a PSN account to play a game on Steam. This statement on the official Sony website was changed in incognito. I had to remind myself how to read that word for a second. Incognito, with no announcement or warning. This is because Sony knows that they misled people and changed the words after the fact in the hope that no one noticed.
Yep.
We did. I was about to say we did, but he said it for us.
Yeah, you remember this? You remember my statement, right? New and creative ways of being an asshole. Yeah, that's what Sony's been up to lately.
Well, it's not really new, but it's creative.
Yeah. Well, you know what I mean.
Yes, I know what you mean. It's creative, but this has been done before by others.
Hey guys, what if we tell them they won't have to, and then we change it and we say they do have to? Haha.
Exactly what they did with something else that we'll talk about in a few minutes. and by a few minutes, probably in 30 minutes. I don't know how long this is going to take. This is a clear and obvious case of false advertisement because of the Sony's website statements apply to all Sony games, including the ones on Steam, and overrules the individual game's terms of service or rules. So I got to shout for a second here. Let it be known you were scammed by Sony. Change the language on you thinking you wouldn't be noticed because they think you are fucking stupid. I added a word there, fucking. Because this is the underground. Free speech. Go fuck yourself, censors. Anyway.
And again, the root point of why this is so important, is because with Sony's network and server system being so damned vulnerable, provably vulnerable, provably hackable, provably insecure, and repeatedly been hacked, like you had pointed out. With that being the case, essentially, you have the choice of either never play this game ever again, which, thanks a lot, that's just lovely, or risk your entire credit profile to identity thieves, who can very easily hack Sony's network.
Yeah.
Like, people are willing to take risks, but not for this purpose.
Yeah, so with that in mind, we were going to review Helldivers on this stream. That was our intention. So let's get into that to wrap up the Helldivers portion of this, huh, bro?
Sure.
So, Helldivers, I have it digitally on PS5. I haven't got to play much of it, but from what I have seen and played, these are my thoughts on it at this point. Here, this page. So, I have done a little revamp of the rating system. I no longer do it out of 10. I now do it out of total points possible instead. So, with that in mind, Helldivers scores, from me at least, 121 out of a possible 170 points. It's a great game.
Sure, which...
if you're allowed to fucking play it. Anyway.
Which is exactly why 157,000 people are leaving bad reviews. Right now.
Yeah, I know.
Because a lot of people like it. It is a good game. It is greatly playable. And it's a damn shame that such a well-established company has yet to learn basic lessons about customer service.
So with that,
and know damn well it's the Sweet Baby Inks of the world that wanted part of this to happen.
And Black Girl Gamers.
Yeah, them too. But I just meant all of them. It's that crowd that wanted this change.
Yeah. But with that in mind, the question that we usually answer on Drew That Games is now going to be answered here for games now coming up. Obviously, since we've been doing gaming content. over here, even though I don't want to do it here, but
And
I have to
this
now.
is also why that's also why it's relevant to Breaking Rocks, because
Yeah.
once again we're presented with
Bullshit.
rocks as good things when we know that they are of no value.
Yeah. Speaking of no value whatsoever, is Helldivers 2 worth it? Considering it's not on Xbox, Xbox players have to go fuck themselves here. Same thing for
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch players. Is it worth it on PlayStation 5? Yes, it is. It most certainly is worth the 40 or 50 bucks for it. That's actually a great deal for this. Is it worth it on Steam? Fucking no. Because if you have to go through all of this bullshit just to play it, by the way, Steam has its own terms of service, by the way, so...
Yeah, it was just given a violent shove from maybe to definitely no.
Yeah. I look forward to seeing if there's a potential lawsuit coming from Steam towards PlayStation and Sony for trying to go over and around Steam's own terms of service for their users at this point.
Yeah, because I mean, if they don't address it, I mean, if Steam doesn't address it, then one of their users could sue them for letting Sony leave them vulnerable.
and also on top of it, it looks like Steam is involved.
Yeah.
At that point, which is my questions. But also there are other questions which we will get to, and hence why we have this other story to talk about, because it's linked to this. Because I firmly believe that Sony is doing this to try to make up for cancellations of PlayStation Plus members and PSN accounts because of what they did elsewhere. And that being this right here. Stellar Blade. Now, this is the petition that you could go sign that was started by Mark Kearns, i.e. Grums. Shout out to Grums. Go follow him on Twitter. And please, go sign the petition. We need to free Stellar Blade from this nonsense, too.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I did also sign earlier this morning. So it's now up over 75,000 at 77,426. With me, it's at 426 instead of 425. On a goal of now 150,000. Let's get it above the 150, folks. And Nord, you should go sign this too.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I was gonna say though about it is, like, if a gigantic portion of the player base is saying something to Sony and to Steam, you'd think they would be like, okay, why are we here? What are we here for? What's the whole point of our existence as a company? And we're here to provide the consumer, aka the gamer, with what they want.
And I did forget about one detail. Since we are talking about Stellar Blade, I have to do this.
Yeah.
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 So, for those that don't know what's going on with Stellar Blade, the demo came out, everything was uncensored. Shift Up said the game would not be censored in any region. Then, at launch of Stellar Blade, a patch came out patching and censoring various lovely outfits that Eve in the game wears if you unlock them and whatnot. But more than that, the developer said it wouldn't be censored. Then Sony censored it. By the way, the blood and gore was also toned down. And also, as you see in the thumbnail for this stream, a bit of graffiti was changed in the game, too, because some woke activists, and I refuse to call them game journalists, woke game activists, went and cried to Papa Sony for this bullshit. Nord?
Yeah, the thing I want to say about that whole thing is that yes, the game for starters is not a kid's game. This is what I
Mhm.
continue to say about games. And it's like, first of all, if any M-rated game has somebody come along and say, well, I don't like this, that, and the other thing in it, because it's not, whether it was originally the kid-friendly aspect, because
Mhm.
people, especially guys, like we talked about before, who don't play games think that, well, just because a game's rated M, that means kids could still be playing it anyway. So we need to make sure that M-rated games are still censored anyway. And then there's the other crowd that wants to censor M-rated games because they have woke politics and they don't want to see. I guess, well, it's the Anita Sarkeesian thing about male gaze and not wanting to give any male gamer anything that we might call heterosexuality to to
Yeah,
express.
male
Um,
gaze. But if you're going to criticize something for a gaze, like the male gaze,
okay, let's put it. Let's just say what it is. Okay, let's just put it on the table. They're pro-gay, and they only want to see gay content. They want everything and everyone to be gay,
like
and anything that isn't
like
gay
this
is offensive to them.
like this one person complaining about jiggle physics of Eve, yet praises the dick jiggle physics
Yeah.
in games at the
hmm
same time.
Yeah. No, nobody ever said that feminists had to be, consistent because they're not. They're hypocrites, vast majority of the time,
Yeah.
and they absolutely are chauvinists about, what they want to see men doing and how they want men to dress, and whether they're fine with men being displayed like meat. They're fine with all that. And they always
Mm-hmm.
say they are, and they act like they are. So what are we to believe? I mean, we should believe that they're acting differently than they supposedly believe? No, of course not. The way they act is how they believe. That is the way life works. Okay. And
Yeah.
so we know that it's rules for some, rules for others. That's the way they operate. It's the way they want it to be. And all this crap here is the LGBT mafia, the alphabet mafia, want to push gaming developers, and Sony's letting them because apparently they're captive to this, into changing their games so that the hetero gamer is dissatisfied because they hate hetero people in general. That's what it is.
Yep. Sorry, I was just starting a piece of my notebook for
You
taking
see,
notes for the next episode of
because
this.
it's not enough for them to say, okay, well, if we happen to have a gay character in a game, then we should focus on that. No, they don't focus on that. No, that's not enough. What they need is they need to take every character in every major release and make them gay in
Yeah.
some way. All right. If they aren't gayable in that sense, then it's not a good game.
Yeah.
That's how they operate. And that's what this is too. They want to de-hetero every single thing they touch. And the gaming studios are just letting them do it. They're on board with it too. Like they're not innocent babes in the woods on this. They're just going right along and they're happy to join in. They believe in it too. They're jumping right on that bandwagon. It's not enough to just have some gay characters here and there in gaming. No, every single release has to have something. Has to be in
No.
some way compliant to that ideology. Or at very least insult everyone who isn't on board with that. Which is what this is doing.
Yeah.
Like in some way jab the people in the poke them in the face and say, haha, we're in charge, of your precious gaming industry.
Why is there no good websites that aren't bullshit?
Well, that's a secondary issue.
For this particular topic? Because all I see is Kotaku Australia,
Yeah.
Forbes, Niche Gamer, The Gamer.
Yeah, well, because mainstream game journals are well the problem.
They're fucking assholes.
Main part
Let's
of the
go
problem.
to the next page and see if anything else comes up. Reddit, no, go fuck yourself. Insider Gaming. I've not heard of them. You?
No, it doesn't ring a bell.
Okay, let's try that one. And let me stop sharing this and present. Come on. Stupid machine. Here we go. Players mad that uncensored Stellar Blade is actually censored. Yeah. Here we go. This is what I wanted to show you guys.
Mm.
This was the uncensored. I guess this is a bunny outfit. And here's the censored version. The hips are a little lower and the cleavage is covered up. Mm-hmm. This is what I'm talking about there. And then they also didn't just censor that. They also censored some graffiti that on a wall, it was the word hard. But right next to it was a sign for the R store. So what people took that as hard R. What usually is a hard R in the real world?
Yeah, it's obviously a racist slur reference, and everybody at that point realizes what the problem there would be.
Yeah, so in the patch, they changed it to criminal or something like that. In other words, people are taking that as referencing black people who commit crimes. And, okay, how did you make that fucking conclusion now?
Well, it's just amazing, though. It's just amazing, though, that all the people that are going to play a game like this are going to sit around and bitch and moan about such things. It's just amazing to me.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, the fact that the juxtaposition of the graffiti even happened, some would say, "Oh, well, that was just that was done on. It had to be done on purpose." Whereas, like, you could very easily say, "Look, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. That's an opinion." You know?
Yeah.
Does it have to be removed? Sure, whatever. If it's very simple. It's one of the most simple things to just remove it if it's so damned offensive. And then the other problem though about all that is that they're going to go hunting once they get their way of telling a game developer what can and cannot be in their game. Now they're going to go hunting for any little thing that they can also browbeat the developer into removing from the game.
Yeah.
And so, while obviously it could be construed as offensive, and removal of that particular example is not, removing it doesn't hurt anyone. Having it in the game maybe hurts some people, I guess, their feelings. But it starts a terrible precedent. And a terrible precedent is now game developers are literally subject to literally any individual person's opinion of what's offensive.
Yeah.
And now individuals are going to see, hey, if I get offended about something, I tell the world I'm offended about something, I can literally change a product because I am offended.
Yeah. Long story short, go sign the petition, folks, by Grums. And
but my point is, it wasn't enough for those people that were offended by it to just not play the game. Well, that wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. They absolutely needed the game developer to remove that immediately.
Yeah,
they had to remove it or else.
And then there is also the potential lawsuit at Sony about false advertising, also for this game, by the way, much like Helldivers. Multiple lawsuits incoming bound, Sony, from a lot of people.
Yeah, well,
I hope you're happy with yourself.
I kind of wish that more consumers, more gamers, if they're really gamers, they're not in most cases. But I wish that those people would simply not buy a game that they're offended by, and stop playing a game if it offends them.
Yeah,
It's all they have to do.
you're
Just
talking
stop playing a
about.
game if you're offended.
And to clarify, you're talking about all of these game journalists. I call them game activists because I refuse to call them that because they're not. The ones who act like fucking journalists are people that work at Geeks and Gamers, Neurotic, The Quartering, and these two guys right here. Hi.
Yeah, I mean the core of good game journalism is people who play games and want to get to the bottom of whether a game is well designed and creative and interesting and worth playing. That's what they care about.
I also cannot forget about Razor Fist as well.
Everybody else in the game journal community wants to pick clean the bones of an industry and grift their whole life off of something that's popular.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's all they're doing. And they don't even like video games. They don't like gamers. They don't like video games. They're only in the industry because they wanted to be a journalist, and this is the only job they could get.
Yeah.
Because apparently they were all full up at the other ones, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the NYT and the Washington Post and the, San Francisco Chronicle and all the other garbage news publications in America were all full up, apparently. So they had to join the gaming journalism field. But they didn't want to. They just wanted to be a part of journalism, which was dead to begin with. It was honestly, it was like, it was as dead as the Marleys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To begin with.
But to wrap up this part before we get into the political nonsense that Nord is bringing with for a topic with him, I've seen a number of people like Yellow Flash saying they're going to refund Stellar Blade because they were lied to. Here's the fucking thing, folks. If you bought a physical copy, the worst message you could send to Sony is getting a refund for the game. All right? And you can say what you want about the digital version, but my point of view is this. Don't ask for a refund for either fucking version. Okay? And I've seen a lot of people say, cancel your PlayStation Plus subscription. If you want to do that, that sends the right message directly to the right people, to PlayStation proper, which is where your target should be, not Shift Up. All right? Because asking for a refund is getting the money back from Shift Up at that point. Right, bro?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So with that in mind, personally, I'm not canceling my PSN or PlayStation Plus subscription because of what I'm trying to do here in my little circle. But I signed the petition, #FreeStellarBlade. I'm choosing to do it my way with my voice here on fucking YouTube. Fuck Google. But
correct. And the important thing, though, that's to point out here is that this is not anyone being offended with content. This is people caring about themselves economically. This is people expecting a gaming company who sells them a product to sell them a product they want to buy without risking their entire financial life to do it.
It's more than that. A company selling you on a product with everything that leaded up to the release of that product, and when the product comes out, it's not what they showed you.
Yeah, that too.
That's where the issue comes in, and where the false advertising comes in, and where the potential lawsuits come in at that point. So again, like I said, don't refund your copy of Stellar Blade. Instead, voice your displeasure directly to Sony by either canceling your PSN account. If you choose to do that, I fully support that decision. I'm not going to do so myself because of what I'm trying to do here. But what the best way you could do is go sign that petition and voice your displeasure directly to Sony on social media yourself. or if you choose to cancel your PSN account, whatever, you do you.
Yeah, if it were me, I would simply not play the games that they're requiring the link for. That's what I would do.
That's your choice, Nord. So,
Yeah.
as I say to you watching, as much as I say to my own brother here, you do you.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. But with that in mind, speaking of people doing themselves or undoing themselves, whichever you prefer, Mark Hamill
Yeah.
has lost his fucking mind.
Well, okay. Let's preface this entire topic with first things first, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Mark has been a leftist, politically speaking, since his time in Star Wars, since even before that.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's not news here is Mark Hamill's a raving leftist lunatic. That's not news.
Mm-hmm.
Because he always was. The difference here is the bit about being brought in to shill for Joe Biden and willingly doing it.
So
It's okay if it has any impact on the popularity of Joe Biden. That's hilarious right off the bat. But second of all, if it had any impact in a positive way for Mark, I also can't see that either. So I just don't exactly know, other than force feeding the American public a big cringe sandwich full of cringe spread with cringe on top of cringe. I can't see what the point of this whole press conference that he held was. Because all he did was talk about how great Joe Biden's administration has been, which is holy shit levels of delusional I can't even begin to address. And then talking about how proud he is
mm-hmm.
of Joe and the administration. And again, if you ever wanted to watch someone who played in a movie as a character you could really actually love and respect and root for and just think about the machinations of for decades, to have that actor just go and just run himself through and chop his own head off on live camera, that's pretty much what this was.
So with that, do you want me to play it?
No. Look, we'll just say to people, look, it's online, it's on Twitter, it's on TikTok, it's on every site you'll ever find a video. It's easy to find.
Yeah,
we're not gonna make you die from cringe here.
I believe this says Austin, America Statesman is where this is from.
Yeah,
6 hours ago. So go check that out for yourself.
Yeah, we're not gonna murder you with cringe here.
But if you want cringe, go to Mara Jade and My Nerdy Home, Talk Nerdy. You'll get your full of the cringe from them with cringe topics and all that. And yes, I'm promoting Talk Nerdy here on Breaking Rocks because I'm a fan of what those two lovely ladies are doing and have done for a long time.
And so the point, I suppose, of this is not that it is anything new from Mark necessarily.
Yeah.
This is par for the course with that man at this point.
It's also a new low.
It's just...
But not really.
I had to bring it up because it's just absolutely what we talk about when we talk about peak clown world. You know?
Yeah.
Whenever some dumb, delusional, woke bullshit reaches the front of the the front of the stage, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just had to point that one out because it was breathtakingly bad. Breathtakingly I'm just like, I don't want to say I hate the original trilogy, but this fucking press conference could actually make me hate the original trilogy of Star Wars. It's that fucking bad.
I know that it feels like Mark Hamill's going out of his way to ruin the original trilogy for some people, but as long as you can ignore this,
like, I'm not going to be able, like, thanks to this press conference, I'm kind of not going to be able to go back and watch those movies without remembering the stupid fucking press conference he just did.
It sounds like you watched all of it too.
Unfortunately, I have seen it, yes.
And unfortunately,
I am somehow living, despite cringing my head, into a complete wrapped circle.
And unfortunately, I've seen it because Mom showed it to me. So
sure, no, it was. I have seen plane crashes that I didn't cringe at as much.
So thanks, Mom.
It's just. It's got to be one of the cringiest things I've probably ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I had to bring it up because when something that cringe happens, I have to bring it up.
Considering the level of cringe that this is and we're talking about it, I feel like this is gimmick infringement on Minority Home and Mara Jade.
Sorry. Yeah, there's just no way this could be ignored. This was far too bad.
Yeah.
And I'm still shaking my head, even now. Just like, what the fuck was he thinking? I don't even want to know. Why am I even asking? Yeah. All I know is that it's... Even if you were a Democrat voter or a leftist, even if you are a leftist, I really cannot see how this is in any way considered smart, helpful, good politics. It's none of that. Yeah. It's shameless. It's shilling. It's dumb as hell. And it's delusional. I mean, just literally delusional. But, I mean, even on principle, it's like, what the hell is he doing? I'm just baffled, but again, I'm not baffled about his politics. I know where he stands, and he stood there for 50 years now.
Yeah.
So that ain't nothing new. Like, we know his stance. You can have whatever political opinion you want to have, but being as delusional as that press conference was is something to behold and cringe at.
Yeah. So, with all that in mind, to do the wrap up for this, Stellar Blade is worth it on PS5. Don't waste your fucking time on PC with it on Steam. Stellar Blade, do not refund the game. That's sending the wrong message to fucking Sony. Fuck Mark Hamill. Fuck Sony and their bullshit.
Yeah.
I fuck everybody now that I think of it. Once again.
It's okay. So just one more thing about that press conference. What this was the White House one more time trying to trot out celebrities to gain votes. That's what this was. And every time it happens, no matter who it is, what president it is, it's always stupid, it's always pathetic, it's always patronizing, and it's always so degrading to the entire political system. We just continue to slide further into absolute, just the darkest of abysses. It's breathtakingly... I don't even have words beyond that. It's just breathtaking.
But it's not breathtaking like Keanu Reeves.
No, not in a good way, in a bad way.
Yeah.
It's breathtaking like watching all of a metropolitan city fall into a sinkhole. That kind of breathtaking.
Yeah. Welcome to America in 2024, everybody. But on that note, please go follow Grums if you haven't. Go sign the petition to free Stellar Blade. It's up. It's closing in on 200,000. No, not 200,000. It's up over 75 now, right?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I was misremembering that with the number of bad reviews on Helldivers too, which that's closing in on 200,000 bad reviews at this point.
200,000. Oh man.
You fucked up, Sony. But with that in mind, go subscribe to Esmagold on YouTube if you have not. Also, you can also do us to a favor. Specifically, first and foremost, for me personally at least, go subscribe to this channel for my Xbox game coverage from Twitch going over. And you can also find this channel over on Rumble as well as this channel, the one you're watching right now, Drew Dad Underground, is also on Rumble as well, where this will be in a day or two from now or a week, whenever I remember to actually upload it over there. And also my PlayStation 4 and 5 live streams, mostly 5-game live streams coming up, which coming up tomorrow, I will be live over on Twitch, starting a Drew play of Skyrim, with a very specific theme and character in mind for that Let's Play, or as I call it, a Drew play, because it's me doing it. My version of Sloppy Sales, based off of Joe Biden. Stay tuned for that. Yeah, we're going to get arrested a lot. So stay tuned for that, and that will also be coming to this channel from Twitch later, too. Also, you can do both of us a favor and go subscribe to this channel as well once my mouse works again for your memes. Go subscribe to Desert Nord on YouTube. He's currently at 64. He's got 18 videos, and my favorite is the Mike Pence one. Which is his most recent 9 months ago, sitting at 95 views. That's a little low for one of your memes, dude.
Yeah, it is. But it did end up being pretty much the moment that Mike Pence ended his own career. Although he probably was already sort of ended it before that. But that was definitely the final nail.
But to quote Mike Pence, it's not my concern.
Yeah, nothing at all is his concern. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing concerns the man at all.
But you know what is our concern? The state of gaming.
Yeah.
Because this is our mission here on this channel, and also Drew Dat Games, and can I speak for your channel at this point?
I suppose so.
Our goal is simply this: to make gaming great again.
Yeah, that's a goal for sure.
Not MAGA, not make America great again, make gaming great again. So that would be MGGA, right?
Yeah, and I can
So
tell you right now.
So that would be MGA.
How about we take gaming back to the mid-2000s? That would be amazing.
Mm-hmm. But with modern graphics.
No, yeah, of course. I meant the culture of gaming.
Could you imagine Bastila Sean with modern graphics?
Sure. Yeah, no, or I mean, I'm just saying the level of creativity, the amount of product, the level of quality, all wrapped in one, but with current tech.
Yeah.
That's what we want the gaming industry to become again.
Yeah.
That's what we want. And that's all we want. Like, as far as gaming goes, that's all we want.
What we want, modern gaming.
It doesn't matter if the characters have a certain identity. Not the point. It's the point for some other people, but it's not our point.
Yeah. What we want is modern gaming to essentially simply be entertaining again.
Yeah. Sure, and then again,
And an escape from the bullshit of everyday life, an escape from the bullshit that we're shoved down our throats by the media, by politicians, and by assholes in this world.
one thing I would say is that pretty much everyone who currently controls the gaming industry needs to have someone come along, put their forehead, on their chest, put their hand over their mouth, and say, "Let people enjoy things."
Why are they putting their forehead on their chest?
I meant, you know what I'm saying? Just take them by the head, cover their mouth, and say, "Let people enjoy things."
I'm starting to think that Nord just wants to put his forehead on people's chests.
I'm just saying that they need to have what's called a come to Jesus moment, maybe even literally, and they need to get their act together, because whatever's going on right now and has been going on for the last damn near 10 years now is a collapse and a degradation of what gaming should be.
Make Jesus mainstream again.
Well, I meant that figuratively, but I said maybe literally too. But my point was that
I stand by everything I say here on this channel, so
I'm just saying that they need to do better. And I don't mean better in the way that everyone who says that statement means it. Yeah. I mean it in the way of take a look at what you all used to do right and do those things again instead of what you're now doing. What you're now doing is crap and stupid, and you need to stop it.
Yeah, because we'll get something like a Helldivers and a Stellar Blade, and then Sony will fuck them up.
Yeah.
And we'll get something good from Xbox, and
I really wish a new generation of developers.
From there.
I really wish a new generation of developers could come along and just steal their whole market share from them. It'd be the greatest thing that ever happened to the industry.
Sounds like Eric July needs to start a gaming company.
I'm just saying, competition will destroy these people. They just will, especially if it's quality competition.
Yep.
Because currently, all they have is a unified front of stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
And that unified front needs to come down. It needs to crack and break and fall apart and be history. It needs to end.
Yeah.
Before it destroys the whole thing entirely.
Kind of like Hollywood destroyed itself at this point. We don't want to see that with gaming, but that's where this is going.
Yeah.
Well, it's not
we don't want young people. We don't want young people to come into the world thinking, come into the adolescent culture thinking, ew, gaming, ew. We don't want that. We want gaming to get better, not become something that used to be done and used to be a thing.
It makes me wonder what our dad would be saying about the gaming industry right now if he were still here. You know?
Yeah, well, you never know. I mean,
because I know
it was difficult for such a thing to be enjoyed in his time. So.
Well, when we were kids, Dad very much enjoyed playing like King Griffey Jr. Major League Baseball, and then later on some newer stuff. He would go out in the back porch and swear, and then come back and keep trying to play.
Yes, our father enjoyed gaming as much as could be enjoyed by his generation. It didn't really come to fruition, and much of what we play today and what we see today was beyond imagination for his entire generation of people. But
I do know that when Dad was alive, he would constantly go, fuck every politician. And he was 100% right.
Yeah. But I guess the point would be is that we were raised with it, and we care very deeply whether or not the gaming industry lives or dies. Mm-hmm. And it's being killed slowly by poison.
And Nord and I collectively honestly want it to survive to the future so that people like our niece can have a chance to grow up with it.
Yeah, I would like gaming to improve and continue. instead of get worse progressively and die.
Yeah, because right now it's on life support here.
Yeah, I mean it's become a shell of its former self, and honestly, just like with the sports card collapse of the early 2000s, I don't
Yeah.
want to sit here and witness a gaming collapse of the 2020s.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
I still got my baseball cards.
Yeah.
But on that note, we'll wrap it up here. Nord, what are you going to be up to after this? Gaming or whatever? Because we
Well,
do everything here now.
my current mainstay is the fishing game I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Working on getting that completed and played. It's quite a long. It's sort of a long-term game because again, it's very grindy. But hey, I very much enjoy it. It's a good game, and I recommend it for other people if they like fishing at all.
Text me the name of it and I'll look into it too.
Yeah. And it is multiplayer, by the way. It's not a solo game. It's a game you can play with a
Well,
friend.
then it sounds like something we should try to go fishing together on YouTube at some point.
Yeah,
or
and
on Twitch.
I play with other players that I know on Xbox currently also. So
Yeah.
it's a game where you can meet up on the map and you can fish together and you can catch things and work on strategy and try to find rare fish and stuff like that. So it's about as good as a fishing game I think you could make. The multiplayer is a little bit wobbly. They need to work on some things, but other than that, it is very beautiful. It's just a beautiful game.
Let us know in the comments down below if you guys want to see Nord and I on Drew Deck Games and or wherever fishing and trying not to catch a cold together. Yeah. But beyond that, I'm going to be seeing if I can't create a little clip of my own, which I know Nord is working on something behind the scenes for this podcast himself. I'm going to try to work on a gaming clip to use for this thing going forward to represent introducing this guy on here. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I'll come up with something. And when I do, I'll try to get it up and ready for this by next week or whenever we do this again next.
Yep.
It all depends on what happens next. Stay tuned because what needs to happen next is this Hellblade and Helldivers, whatever, Stellar Blade monkey business. Since they're pretty much linked, more or less, I should just call it Hellblade situation or Stellar Divers. I don't know. Situation getting fixed here. So, and if that happens before we do this again next, that's what we'll be talking about. Otherwise, stay tuned for the next game review. Hopefully, it will be Stellar Blade next. We'll see. Because why not talk about that game and show off outfits,
It almost sounds like a good exclamation, like Great Scott. It's stellar hell. Yeah, it could be funny. But yeah, it's a bit of a mishmash, isn't it? Sort of.
Otherwise, I'm going to go will be the show, which I was creating like a character to play as, pretending to be Randy Johnson's son. And I called him Chris Johnson, which is also the name of a former Tennessee Titans running back too.
Yes, it was.
I guess I'm race swapping Chris Johnson now. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see you guys in the next one. Be safe, be well. We don't have an outro, so we'll just roll out this way like we did before. See you guys in the next one.
Good job. At least you're gonna roll him down the hill. Catty, you animal. Now what? You're